Today we will be talking about the effects of social media on sleep cycle. Sleep is something we do every day. There are two main broad types of sleep: REM or rapid eye movement and REM or non-rapid eye movement. REM cycle, as defined by our textbook, is the stage of sleep during which the brain is the most active and during which vivid dreaming most often occurs. Is what occurs during stages 1 through 4 of sleep cycle, during which rapid eye movements do not occur and dreaming is less frequent and vivid. When doing some research on experiments done with sleep, many showed up with how it is affected by media. In a study conducted by Excellements from University of Michigan, who studies the effect of media use on actual sleep as opposed to just being in bed closing your eyes, found a correlation between more media usage and difficulty falling asleep. In another study by Travis from Wisconsin, her study found that there is no supporting evidence that sleep problems were associated with media usage. Because of these competing views, we decided to run an experiment on a similar question. We are going to ask the questions about how social media specifically affects the normal person's sleep cycle. We will measure this by looking at each participant's proportion of time spent in stage 2 sleep compared to their total time sleeping. The average person has about 50% of stage 2 sleep, which is the point when the person starts to lose awareness and the brain starts to go offline.
The research will be conducted using an experimental design in order to draw causal claims from the data. There will be 4 groups, each with 30 participants. The first is a control group who will be asked not to use social media at all and have little interactions with other people. The second group will use social media for 2.5 hours a day, which is the average amount of time people spend on social media. The third group will use social media for 4 hours a day to show what the effect on sleep is if there's an overuse of social media. The last group is for people who will also not use social media but will interact in a group for around 2.5 hours a day to help us see definitively if it is social media or just social anxiety that is causing the changes in sleep cycles. Based on this, you can see that our independent variable is time spent on social media and the dependent variable is how long the participant spends in stage 2 sleep. A confounding variable here would be the amount of time spent on the phone in general. We are going to control for that using statistics and the data recorded from an app on their phone. We will be asking people from SCU to participate in our experiment. We plan on sending a mass email out to the school and have students put their name in a raffle in order to win a $200 Amazon gift card in order to entice them. This way, we will get a wide variety of participants. However, the generalizations of the study can only be applied to students from Santa Clara University. The participants will come in for 2 rounds. The first round is that we will give whoever comes a survey asking what their major, gender, GPA, and other general information. There will also be questions about how much social media they usually use. We will also put in other questions that do not relate to the study in order to not reveal the true study. Once the survey is completed, we will assign people into groups using a random number generator. We will ask them to download an app that will track how long they use certain apps to make sure our data is not skewed in any way. We will tell them that we will need them to come in on the last day to sleep in the sleep lab. We will tell all the participants that the purpose of the study is to measure their social interactions, digital and real, effect on certain brainwaves when they sleep to avoid the experimenter expectancy effect. Round 2 will start with the participants from all groups going to the sleep lab. We will check the app on their phone to make sure they followed the rules and to record the total number of hours logged on the phone to control for it. In the sleep lab, we will be using an EEG or an electroencephalograph. An EEG, as defined by our textbook, is the recording of the brain's electrical activity at the surface of the skull. We will be using it to track the stage 2 sleep and compare the results to that of a normal, healthy person. Stage 2 sleep have characteristic sleep spindles and K complexes, which we will be learning about in the future. By monitoring the different waves picked up by the EEG, we will be able to figure out how long stage 2 sleep was for each participant.
After the sleep lab, they will go to a common room and fill out an additional survey. The questions will ask them how they felt after they woke up, how was their experience overall, and other related questions. Upon completion of the survey, we will reveal to them what the research study was really about. Our hypothesis at the beginning of the experiment was that as there is an increase in social media usage, there will be an increase in stage 2 sleep. We believe this because with increased social media usage, there should be more disturbed sleep, meaning that the sleep cycle will reset itself going back to stages 1 and 2. The longer the participant is in stage 2 sleep, the less deep sleep and REM sleep they will have. As we expected, there was little deviation from normal person's stage 2 sleep cycle when compared to those who did not use social media. As the social media usage went up, the proportion of stage 2 sleep increased as well. The group that only interacted with people, however, spent the normal 50% of sleep in stage 2. This tells us that the social media is the main reason for the change in sleep pattern and not social anxiety. There are two main strengths to this study. The first is that we understand that social anxiety is a confounding variable, and we acted accordingly by having a group only have social interactions in order to test it as well. The other strength is that we control for the amount of time spent on the phone, which also affects sleep by controlling it statistically with the data obtained through the app. There are some limitations to this experimental design though. First, it is hard to control the amount of social media that participants used in general. To combat this, we asked them to do without social media for 48 hours prior to the first meeting, but there may still be some skewed data. We also have a nuisance variable. Some people become anxious when they are hooked up to an EEG, which could interfere with our results as well. Another limitation is that we are not controlling when social media is being used. If it's in the morning or right before they go to bed, it could also disturb their sleep in different ways. It is also hard to control how much they use their phone outside of social media. If they use their phone a lot, it could be stopping them from participating in exercises or doing other activities which could also affect sleep.